Welcome to Fireside Yankees. My name is Alex with my co-host here, Nick Nielsen. And today we figured we'd go fishing for some marlin. It seems like the Marlins might be sellers at the trade deadline. And should the Yankees be buyers? That's a big question. We've talked about Andrew Benintendi. We've talked about a couple package deals. But what about a blockbuster for an established player who the team would have control over for many years to come? What about Jazz Chisholm or Sandy Alcantara? What about some of these guys who the Marlins might be looking to cash in on? That way they can reboot their farm system and prepare for the future instead of wasting away some of these players' primes. So we want to talk about that, discuss what they'd cost, the possibility of it, if it's even likely or if it's even in the realm of this world. Probably not.
Very unlikely, but it's fun to talk about nonetheless.
It is fun, and we've seen Cashman do some crazy stuff in the past, so I wouldn't rule anything out at this point.
Specifically with the Marlins. Remember when we got G? Granted, Jeter was there, but remember when we got G for Castro and Jose Devers?
Totally,
because Pepperidge Farms remembers.
Absolutely. I mean, and then think about this for example, if the Yankees and Cashman really want to win a World Series, now's the time to cash in. They have the team, they got the bullpen, they got the starting rotation. If there's one more piece and they got to sell the farm to get it to win a World Series, it will be worth it because they got to make the World Series this year. It's been over a decade.
Year. I feel like this is the year.
This is
you got guys that we've signed to short-term contracts that are expected to make big impacts. Like Donaldson, we traded for 2 years. Rizzo, we signed for 2 years. We've got a couple years left of the rotation all being together, and they're all hitting their stride at the same time. We got to pay Judge. And then also after this year, we'll have the Chapman and Britton money coming off the books. So if we don't put that $30 million or so, and Chad Green and Joey, if we don't put that money toward Aaron Judge, that's the thing. If we win the World Series this year, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Aaron Judge is going to be a Yankee for life. That's why I'm like, we have to win the World Series this year. Because in my opinion, you may agree with me here. If we win the World Series, Judge is staying for sure. If we don't win the World Series and we're another divisional round bounce out, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if the team's going to look at Judge and be like, all right, you carried us in the regular season, but once again, we fell short. We didn't even make it to the World Series or whatever. That's what I don't want to have happen. I want to avoid that at all costs. So acquiring someone from the Marlins, granted, it's very unlikely because the guys we're talking about in this episode are literally superstar players, but it's not impossible. It's improbable, but not impossible. And we've seen Cash work his magic before. I don't know, man. This episode's a fun one to me because everything that just recently happened and is going on in Miami as well. I'm sure you saw the Heyman article that came out where he talked about how Mattingly gathered all the team together and they had to
crazy
to squash some beef because apparently they don't like Jazz Chisholm's enthusiastic electric style of play and how he plays with that swagger, which is weird considering he's probably a top 3, top 5 second baseman in baseball.
Can we just have some flash in baseball for once without these old-ass guys trying to kill any sense of
And it's like
excitement?
His teammates. That's what I don't get. It's like his own teammates. It's like, it's probably Avisario Garcia, the most boring player on the planet. And those guys are like, yeah, you got to stop doing this shit, Jazz. When Jazz is quite literally their best offensive player and it's not even close. Exactly.
Bullshit. But I want to see excitement. The guys in the NFL, for example, that are flashy, but they also play hard. No one said that he doesn't play hard.
Jamar Chase, right? Justin Jefferson. These guys are all guys that are very similar to Jazz Chisholm's personality.
Even
and
OBJ.
They're two of the most talented. Even OBJ, yeah. Granted, New York OBJ.
Yeah.
We'll take it back a little bit. In last year's OBJ too.
Let's reel it in.
And Baker Mayfield OBJ without Baker Mayfield. There we go.
Baker Mayfield when he doesn't suck.
But that's the thing. People love players like that. There's a reason Tatis, Acuna, Soto, and all these guys have literally completely entrapped fans and said and essentially you're going to root for me because of the fact that I'm fun. And there are people that are Dodgers fans are damn, Tatis is a fun ass player to watch. And when you can get rivals to say that stuff, that's huge. And that's what Jazz has done. Every team in baseball would love to have Jazz Chisholm on their team. And if the Marlins are kind of thinking about tearing it down, then why not go pillage? I mean, at the end of the day, this team, they're 25-30 right now. And since this locker room incident, they've gone 3-0. Granted, one of those games was a 9-inning shutout by Sandy Alcantara that they won in extra innings off of a single. And then another one of those games was a Jazz Chisholm 2-home run game. So it's I'm not sold on the Marlins having turned this corner after their little powwow at all. But they have a really talented team. So I can see them being hesitant to trade players away or whatever. But they also have no shot of winning the division, in my opinion, anytime soon. The Mets are a substantially better team. The Phillies, I still think, are a substantially better team. And the Braves are a substantially better team. So, like, if you're the Marlins, where does that leave you? Fourth, fighting for third? Like, that's why it makes sense to shop players. And the two biggest names are Chisholm and Alcantara. And while those two guys are, of course, established superstar players and would require a haul of probably big proportions that we hadn't seen in a while, there's no doubt that it would not be worth it. Or there's no doubt that it would be worth it. Sorry. I would give up for a little quick what I do to get Jazz Chisholm. Mind you, Jazz Chisholm, this is what's crazy. He is 24, just turned 24 this year, and he's not a free agent until 2027. So I would give up Peraza, Dominguez, Dunham, maybe even toss in Wells or Siegler, and then like an MLB guy for Jazz and a bullpen arm. And I think that it's a lot.
Repeat that.
I do Peraza,
Okay.
Dominguez,
Okay.
Elijah
It's
Dunham,
necessary.
and then
Okay.
Siegler or Wells, one of the catchers, and then
Okay.
an MLB player that's playing now, like a bench guy or whatever, for Jazz Chisholm and like Tanner Scott or
That's
Anthony
a
Bender.
haul.
It is,
That is
but
a
you have to understand,
haul.
this is what I'm saying. Like Jazz Chisholm, granted, I will say
He's that good though.
He's not. Last year he had a 98 WRC plus in his rookie year. He was a very electric player, but he fell off at the end of the season. However, this year
He's
got as much
24, bro.
Yeah, he's got as much F-WAR this year as he did all of last season, and he's played 79 less games. He's got 2 F-WAR already. He's on pace for like a 6 F-WAR season.
I mean, he's perfect for the Yankees. The guy has a 43.8% hard hit percentage. Yeah, 15.7% barrel rate, a 90 mile-an-hour exit velocity, a max exit velocity last year of 112. The guy can freaking hit.
He's insane.
That's
and he can fly. He's an incredible base runner. He's learning to walk more too. Like this year, he's walking 1% more. He's striking about 1.5% less than last year, and he's
2.5% less.
He's slugging 102 points higher. Like he's actually connecting now and barreling up more and getting more barrels, getting more hard hits. I think he's improved his launch angle a lot this season as well. But the point is that if the Yankees had an opportunity to go get Jazz Chisholm, the only way I wouldn't do that deal is if they said we want 1 and 2 for your prospects. We want Volpe and Dominguez. That's why I said
give up Volpe for him?
I would. If it was that's the thing. I wouldn't give up Volpe and Dominguez. I do one of the two, and then if they wanted anyone else, sure. Because he's a free agent in 2027. He's 24. He's a lefty. He plays second and short. He's got the personality. He's got the charisma.
He's a star.
He's a 5-tool player. There are very few of those, especially in the infield. He's a
long-term solution. Look, if you have to give up Volpe, and people are going to be like, no, not Volpe. Just think about this. Volpe, wow, yes, great prospect.
Potential
the reason
star.
that we're potential star, but let me make the argument here. Is he a star right now? No, he's not. He's actually struggling right now in Double-A. So
is Peraza in Triple-A.
That's right, and that's not to say he's not going to pick it up, because I'm sure he will. But I'll tell you what, right now, the Yankees have, if they extend Aaron Judge, they still have Stanton, they still have a phenomenal team. They could win a multiple World Series before Jazz Chisholm ever hits free agency.
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying. We had talked about a dynasty to New York in a past couple episodes.
And look, and if the Yankees decided we don't want to extend Judge, and now you have Jazz, you have the new face of your franchise. Jazz is there. He will be the biggest face in New York sports.
He's crazy. He's
given a couple guys.
If we don't retain Judge, he will be our poster child.
That's what.
But at the same time, if we keep Judge and we get Jazz, this team, like next season specifically, if we were to trade for Jazz this season, looking at next year's lineup, you'd have like IKF as your utility guy, which is perfect. IKF would be a great utility guy. He's not an everyday player. I'm sorry. I just do not believe that IKF is an everyday player. He's too inconsistent, doesn't hit the ball hard enough, doesn't really walk at all, swings at bad pitches, plays good defense. Yes, his defense has gotten a lot better the past couple weeks. I remember the first 2 weeks of the season were like, this isn't what we wanted. But he has improved a lot defensively, and he has been really solid there. But he's not an everyday lineup guy. We've seen him bat like 5th, and it's like, what the hell is this? We have Jazz Chisholm. Jazz bats leadoff. Jazz can bat 2. Jazz can bat 9. Jazz can bat 7. Like, there's so many positions you can put him in the lineup. Granted, the only negative to trading for Jazz Chisholm was that you give up like a lot of your farm. But the argument to that is that Jazz Chisholm is 24, and you've got like 3 of your top 10 prospects that are 24.
You still,
So it's
yeah,
like,
right. You still
you
got guys
realize
coming up
this.
the system. You still got Roderick. I mean, think about this though.
Yeah, you
I'll
still
throw
got
this in the
Rice, you
mix,
still
right?
got Vargas, you still got Trey Sweeney. Like, there's so many
I mean,
good
look,
shortstop prospects.
by the time that Jazz hits free agency in 2027, Trey Sweeney will be ready. Roderick Arias will be ready.
Yeah,
Jason
he's like, isn't
Dominguez
he
will
like
be ready.
18? Isn't Arias like 18?
Yeah, he's easy. Look, they have plenty, and there'll be more. There'll be more. There'll be more guys that elevate, and like that's the reality. Is like the Yankees have the pieces to flip, and like look, you're
17.
talking about. Look, you're talking about. It's insane. You're talking about Volpe, who's not a star, and you're trading him for an established superstar with 5 years of team control
In one of the most
and who is
depleted positions. There's
and one of
like
the most depleted.
6 good second
It's
basemen I can think
you
of.
don't even have to ask me twice. If they said we want Volpe, we want David Wells, I don't know, a couple
Austin
guys.
Wells, yeah. I do Wells, Volpe, Peraza, and like Dunham, and I'd say great. Give me
Say
Jazz and a
less.
bullpen arm.
See you later.
Because the
Enjoy.
Marlins bullpen, that's the other thing. The Marlins bullpen is like really, really good. Like they've got
We're
Anthony
talking
Bass,
about-
who's really
yeah.
good. Tanner Scott, Cole Sulzer,
Right.
Cody Poteet, my boy, Richard Blyer, and then of course Anthony Bender. Like there are a lot of guys that you can just look at and say, hey, the Yankees could go after one of those guys just individually, you know, and it wouldn't cost anything. Like if you want to get a bullpen arm from the Marlins, you'd give them like one of your 20 to 30 ranked prospects and maybe someone else that's like young and has potential but's on the fringe, and they'd be like, great, send them over. But for Jazz Chisholm, you have to buckle up. And the thing is that if you were to be willing to give up the capital to get him, the results would speak for themselves. That's the thing. Jazz, he wouldn't be. You could also even extend him if you wanted to and take away 6 years of his arbitration or the 5 years of arbitration he has left and get him at a slight discount. Like the thing is that if Jazz stays in Miami, you will see probably next year or the year after the Miami Marlins have like signed Jazz Chisholm to a 6-year, $100 million deal. And in a year after that deal, people be like, holy shit, Jazz Chisholm's worth $25, $30 million a year, and he's playing on the 75, 85 win Marlins. That's just a waste.
It's a joke. It's a joke. Look, here's the argument, right? This is the straightforward. The argument is this. Would you rather trade a couple of prospects, high-level prospects, for and like this is not guaranteed, obviously.
No, this is
but for
so far-fetched.
No. But my point here is like if it was on the table, would you rather trade a couple of high-end prospects for 5 years of legitimate World Series contending, probably winning a couple of them? Or would you rather wait and find out what those guys are going to be, and maybe you don't win a World Series in the next couple of years, and it ends up just falling by the wayside?
It's
I'm willing to take the risk.
I'm a risky kind of guy. GM. I'd be a terrible GM.
I'm a risky
like you and I are both
guy.
Like let's trade. We have the pieces. We clearly like. If you look at the Yankees,
pull the trigger.
If Gallo and Hicks keep doing what they're doing too, the only glaring flaw is the middle infield, is the shortstop position. And again, I think Gallo specifically has really actually figured some shit out. Like he's kind of gone back to his old stance. He's got his hands higher up, and now he's actually hitting shit high. Like he hit 2 home runs yesterday, and both of them were high, I believe.
He did strike out 3 times, but still.
Yeah, but that's honestly that's like it's still
we'll
like
take the homers, the strikeouts.
It's like a 170 or like it's like a 270 WRC plus game from Gallo.
Yeah, so I'll take it.
And that's his. And he also, again, when he plays right field, he's a good right fielder defensively. Like that's his position. That's his natural spot. So if you have that, and then Hicks is kind of doing his thing and coming around, Hicks has been killing it for the month of June. It's honestly awesome. However, it'd be nice if you get to hit a home run like more than once every other month. But if those guys come around, you don't need to think about like the Reynoldses or the Benintendis if those guys kind of keep doing what they're doing. While I don't know if it's maintainable, I'd much rather not continue to worry about 2 outfield positions and a middle infield position and a bullpen arm, you know? But now it's like, if you can, this is such a far-fetched trade getting Jazz, because at the end of the day, no way the Marlins would be stupid enough to do it unless they would be stupid enough to trade Jazz, the face of their franchise. I don't know. But if he's there, you have to inquire. That's the point of this. If he's there, you have to be like, we will give you a great package for him. And it's not like here's like 3 middle guys in our farm. It's like, we will give you 3 of our top 7.
You're tooling them up for the future. You're tooling them up for the future. And that's what losing teams have to do it sometimes.
Yeah. And for the Marlins, it's like, I don't know if they trade Sandy because they just signed him to that extension. But at the same time, it's like Sandy Alcantara has literally had 6 starts in a row of 7 innings plus with 1 run allowed.
We just don't need him.
That's the thing. We don't need him. But I'm saying for the Marlins, it's like, in those games, I think he's won one of those games in those 7 starts or 6 starts. And it's like, that is pathetic. When your guy goes 7+ with 1 earned or less in 6 starts consecutively, and you can like win 1 or 2 of those games when he's on the mound, like, come on, guys. So like the Marlins just have a lot of shit going on. There's clearly some problems back end. And if it is an issue where it's like, yeah, the team doesn't like Jazz, then trade Jazz. Like, I feel like that's kind of self-explanatory. Like, let Jazz go do something great somewhere else on a contender. You guys get your prospects that you need to rebuild. Even get an MLB ready player now. Like, honestly,
give him Gleyber Torres.
That's the thing I was about to say. Would you be willing to, if the Marlins were like, yeah, you give us, say, like Sweeney, Siegler, and Torres, and we'll give you Jazz? Would you do it?
I mean, they would. I mean, I would literally hand deliver them. I would drive them myself to Miami and hand deliver them with bows attached to their little heads.
Like, I love Gleyber. He's been doing work this year. Papa Gleyber's been killing it.
That's a steal. But that's the thing. Like, if steal of a trade,
it's proposal. Just interesting to think about because it's like
you're talking about
the Marlins are going to be the Marlins if they keep winning this year. That's awesome. Like, I want the Marlins to do well. They have a really talented team. Like, they've got guys like Garrett Cooper, Jesus Aguilar, Miguel Rojas, and then of course Jorge Soler Power, who's Jorge Soler has turned it on the past month. I don't know what happened. But the first, like, April, he, like, OPS, like, 500, and everyone's like, what a waste of a contract. And since then, I think he's got, like, 11 home runs, and he's just been mashing the baseball. So it's like the Marlins, if they don't win games, they've got a lot of guys they could push off and ship out and get a new talent prospects and retool their farm. Because their rotation, in my opinion, is set for the next couple of years. Even though Rodgers has struggled this year, they have a very good rotation. But clearly, nothing's working offensively when you have games where it's like you look at the 1 through 9 and you got 3 hits. And that happens a lot for Miami this year. Like, sure, great, 3-0 since this outburst. That doesn't mean shit. That's 3 games. And one of those games was an extra innings walk-off. And the other one, like I said, was Jazz Chisholm just saying, fuck you, I'm doing it myself. Like, you take out Jazz from that Marlins team, and they're, like, legitimately probably 15, 20 games under 500. And right now they're 5.
Them and the A's are playing in the Sacco.
The Sacco. Dude, the league's so good. So good. Shiva Kamini.
They're going to I remember that so well.
Such a good show, dude. Such a good show.
Oh, yeah. It's such a classic.
No, yeah, like the Marlins right now are like the Andre of the league. Where it's like, all right, like, you guys have this talent, and like, you guys clearly like
they're a dentist, but they
think you're doing shit, but everyone else just fucking hates you. Like, we like hanging out with you because we're just going to try to take your place.
You have a nice apartment.
Yeah, you got a nice apartment. But I don't know, man.
Don't like you.
If the Marlins are really going to tear it down, which it's a really odd spot for them as a franchise because, like, they're still winning games. They're still kind of competitive. They've got a really talented roster. But then you look at their competition, and it's like, I just don't know if they have what it takes. They have to consider selling. And if Jazz is the main antagonizer in the locker room, apparently, sell Jazz. Sell Jazz to the Yankees.
I wonder if he's an antagonizer. We'll give you
5 top 20 prospects.
I wonder if he's antagonizing because he doesn't like to lose.
That's the other thing. Yeah, like, guys, maybe if fucking Avisail Garcia here was an OPS in like 500, Jazz Chisholm wouldn't be pissed. Like, they just signed Avisail Garcia to I want to say an extension or a 4-year deal prior to this season. And let's see how he's doing this season. Avisail Garcia on the year is putting up a very nice 566 OPS with a 64 WRC plus and a 3.6% walk rate. Last year he hit 29 home runs. This year he's got 3 in 192 plate appearances. So yeah, maybe Jazz isn't the problem. Has Miami ever thought about that? Like, maybe, guys, it's just the fact that you can't hit. Don't be blaming the guy that's the only player in your team with an OPS over 840. Don't be blaming the guy with the most F-WAR in your team by like a whole point. Like, focus on yourselves. Look within. Be better. Like, in the words of Kanye West, don't be sorry. Be careful. Like, come on, Miami.
Well, guys, I would love to hear your opinions on what you think about trading for Jazz Chisholm. And if you think it's even slightly in the realm of possible, who knows? Very slim. But what would you be willing to give up for him? Would you be willing to
Yeah.
give up Volpe, Peraza, maybe present a package? I'd love to hear your opinions as always, my friends. But I hope you enjoyed this episode, taking a look at the impossible. And, I would give up whatever for Chisholm for the next 5 years of team control and win a couple World Series. If Anthony Volpe equals 2 or 3 World Series over the next 6, 7 years, sign me up. I'm about it.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And like that's the thing. The Yankees do believe in Anthony a lot, and they think that this guy is the cornerstone of their future of the middle infield. No offense, guys, but Jazz Chisholm is already kind of that.
He is that.
If you have an opportunity to get him and it does cost you Volpe or Dominguez, not both. I will say not both. Do not do both, but one or the other, and then some other guys, you have to do it. Like I feel like it'd just be stupid not to do it.
Give me is over might be every day of the week. I'll take that. So guys, hope you enjoyed this episode. Make sure to like and subscribe below. As always, daily content on the New York Yankees. We got a big series coming up against the Cubs. Anthony Rizzo coming up against his former team for the first time since the trade. And we got Clint Frazier talking shit again. Absolute idiot. I don't know what he's talking about.
Like, dude,
he's not even playing.
We tried
for
to
the
cut
Cubs.
ties as best as we could. The Yankees just let you go. They DFA'd you so you could do other things.
He's like, I love it.
He's not good.
I don't even play.
He's not good. Like Clint, if you were good and you were making us eat our words, then yeah, talk your shit. But you're not good and you're not making us eat our words. So it's like, Clint, shut the fuck up. And also Marcus Stroman dodging the Yankees. Did you see that? First 3 games of the series, 2 of the starters were named, and he's not one of them. And he hasn't pitched in a couple of days. It seems that Stroh does not want to come to the Bronx. I wonder why.
Because he's scared. They're probably like, you're psychologically, you're a mess, bro. You're a mess. You're gonna get torched like Noah Syndergaard.
Look what happened to Syndergaard. Look what happened to Ohtani.
Stroh,
you think you got thicker skin and more talent than Ohtani?
He's dodging it because he knows if he gets ripped apart, his career's done. He's mentally shredded. He's like a burrito. I don't know why the Cubs gave him that deal in the first burrito bowl.
It's like a Chipotle burrito bowl.
Just shredded.
No guac, too. That's how shitty he is. No guac.
That's even, oh, God.
That's what I'm saying.
That was disrespectful. I didn't see that.
No, that was not disrespectful. Stroh would just block me if he heard this comment, so it's okay. He'd retaliate and be like, you don't know me. I'm the face of the league, and then block me. And then he'd delete his tweet after he gets shelled again. I love it. It's the cycle of life. There are a few things in life that are certain. Death, taxes, Brett Gardner being a Yankee, and Marcus Stroman having a big ego.
I can't disagree with that. But guys, hope you enjoyed the episode. I know I did. Like I said before, make sure to like and subscribe as always, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.